Hello there, Church of the Resurrection. This is Brad Boucher, and this video is to help train and equip Chalicists for the distribution of communion on our Sunday services. So grateful for those of you who were able to be at our training yesterday. This is to follow up on some of the information that was provided there and hopefully provide a resource that you can refer back to if you have any questions. And just to clarify some of the things that were said yesterday in terms of how we're going to be receiving elements of communion and how we will be distributing elements of communion. So, first thing is we have our team of 8 folk who are helping to distribute communion. 6 of us coming up and receiving from the worship assistant and the celebrant. Each week, we can count on patent number 1 being the worship assistant, patent number 2 being the celebrant. Typically, patent number 4 is the preacher. That will change on situations where the celebrant and the preacher are one and the same person. But generally speaking, these 3 roles will be assigned each week according to worship assistant, celebrant, and preacher. The other thing that was defined yesterday and will remain a regular occurrence is that Chalicist number 2 is the one who will receive the large cup. Receive the large cup. As we said yesterday, and as this diagram makes clear, we want to be standing shoulder to shoulder with one another. Additionally, if everyone is in their correct place, and you've paid attention to the chart and the grid that assigns the role that you've either been signed up for or you have signed up for, it should be clear whether you're Chalicist 1 or Chalicist 2, Chalicist 3 or Chalicist 4. But this is the order in which we want to sign up, standing next to each other, so that patent 1, the worship assistant, can very easily give the chalice to chalice 1, the patent bowl to patent 3, and the chalice to chalice 3. Similarly, the celebrant can very easily give the large cup to chalice 2, patent bowl to patent 4, and a small cup to chalice 4. Once everyone has their elements, the celebrant will give a nod, and that is the cue for us to break and go to our stations. And at some point in the future, we will actually receive communion here in this formation, but that's not for the time being, and we'll circle back to that at the appropriate time. Once the nod is given, we each head to our roles, into our spaces. As was made clear yesterday, Chalicist 1 and Chalicist 2 need to be on the inside of the rail. Chalicist 3 and Chalicist 4 need to be towards the back. And the reason this is because as we move down the railing, it's important that the paten is able to stand directly in front of each person who is communing. So throughout, the paten wants to be standing directly in front of the person who's receiving. And this works really well if the chalice is in the correct location. It works less well if the chalice, for some reason, is in the wrong location. What we can see here is as the paten goes down the line and is trying to give communion to those in front of them, if the chalice is in the wrong location, there's quite an opportunity for chalices to be stacked on top of one another, causing a disruption, causing a delay, and causing challenges in distributing communion. That is no bueno. It's not what we want. So for this reason, Chalicist 1 and Chalicist 2 will always be on the inside, standing in the gap there in the break between the communion rail. Chalicist 3 and Chalicist 4 will always be towards the back, closer to the reredos than the paten. And in doing so, it should allow for easy and consistent distribution of communion, with the paten always being able to stand directly in front of the one who's receiving the elements. Again, Chalicists, you want to be probably 6 to 8 inches away from the paten. You want to be holding your cup at relatively the same height as the paten is holding the paten dish. That way it's super easy and very efficient and very streamlined for the paten to take the wafer, dip it in the chalice, hand it, and then you, especially for Chalicist 3 and 4, it's important that you initiate moving down the line so that as soon as the wafer has been dipped in your cup, you're taking one step backwards and making room for the paten to move on to the next person. We clarified that Paten and Chalicist 3, Team 3 is going to serve the musicians each week. Paten and Chalicist 4 will go back and serve all of those in the congregation who, for whatever reason, cannot come to the communion rail. Those who are having difficulty walking, those on crutches or wheelchairs, anyone who's not able to come to the communion rail will get served by Paten 3 and 4. At the end, once everyone has been served, we will have Chalicist 2 return the large cup to the altar, while Paten 2, the celebrant, resets the stack. Paten 1, the worship assistant, will go back and facilitate in organizing any of the elements, condensing any of the leftover wafers that have already been consecrated, and generally cleaning up the credence table so that it looks presentable for the end of the service. So that's a quick look at some of the nitty-gritty details of what we talked about yesterday. Hopefully you find this helpful. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Look forward to serving with you and grateful for all that you're doing for Church of the Resurrection. God bless. Take care.